This planet makes Saturn look like a baby. Howdy, space enjoyers. Today we are exploring the exoplanet J1407b for my series called Fun Exoplanet Friday, where I find a random exoplanet to do a deep dive on. So far so good. I've honestly had a lot of fun with this series. So J1407b is quite interesting, because if you've noticed with these images that I'm showing right now, something significant that sticks out is its rings. Now these are an artist's concept. Obviously we don't know exactly what they look like, but it's thought to have the largest known rings of any substellar object ever discovered so far. It's also thought that the planet's rings are 200 times larger than Saturn's at 90 million kilometers. So large that if it were in the place of our sun, its circumplanetary rings would extend out past Mercury's orbit, almost reaching the orbit of Venus. The rings are thought to be 100 lunar masses. And to put that into perspective, that would be approximately 1.2 times the mass of Earth. Also, like Saturn, geez, just steal its whole flow, why don't ya? J1407b also is thought to have moons, or in this case, exomoons, in the ring gaps. We see this with Saturn and its shepherd moons, and there are multiple, but the one that I think of in particular is Daphnis, which if you look at this photo right here, it is causing Saturn's rings to ripple. Unfortunately, one of the biggest challenges with observing this exoplanet is astronomers aren't even sure it's still there, and I hate to even say that because I'm a hopeful person, but that's the truth of it. Let's dive into the why. Despite astronomers predicting an orbital period of roughly 10 to 11 years, expected transits in the 2020s never happened, causing some researchers to think this may actually be a rogue planet. And I've talked about these before on my channel, but if you've never seen my content and don't know what a rogue planet is, the best way to describe it is it's a planet that does not orbit a star and roams the galaxy alone. Very sad thought. The reality is, if J1407b is a rogue planet, we may never see it again. If J1407b does orbit a star, it must have a highly elliptical, egg-shaped orbit. At its closest point, the star's gravity should technically shred the rings apart. To explain the rings not shredding apart, scientists have theorized that they might orbit backwards relative to the planet's orbit around its star. Just to be honest, a little side note here. When I did my research into this exoplanet and read that, I was very much taken back because me personally, in my time of making astronomy content and researching, I've never heard of something like that before. So I found that very interesting and knew I had to cover this. But that's how I feel about a lot of topics. It's always something interesting when it's astronomy related. One thing I've not talked about yet is how big the planet is itself. The rings were taking up all the glory. But because we can't see the object directly, its mass is estimated to be 10 to 40 times that of Jupiter. At the higher end, it actually wouldn't be a planet, but a brown dwarf, aka a failed star. Unfortunately, high-resolution imaging like ALMA and VLT has failed to find a direct signal from the object, making it basically invisible to our best technology. I think that concludes this third episode of Fun Exoplanet Friday. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed this one. So far, this is by far my favorite that I've researched. If you love astronomy, or better yet, exoplanets, consider subscribing to keep up to date with astronomy-related news, Fun Exoplanet Friday, and loads of other astronomy content on a weekly basis. I hope to see you next time, and I hope that you have a wonderful day or night.